my work as a stills photographer for the past 20 years, I've had to deliver stories to editors from around the globe, from covering stories about the missing rebel children during the El Salvador War, to post-conflict situations in Bosnia, Kosovo, to the book that I created from stories about South Africa's post-apartheid South African Truth and Reconciliation Commission. I would say I have long-term experience of being on the ground, of gathering facts, of producing and of documenting these stories. Most of the projects I've worked on have required an amount of immersion time in and around the subject matter. After Truth and Lies, my direction shifted. It felt natural, progression. It was a shift because of the complexity and the layering of the story and needing to use the documentary form to fulfill that. The first film doc that I worked on was a personal story called Searching for Great Aunt Minna, about a lost strand of the family that I discovered in Ukraine. The next film that I worked on was alongside Martin Rosenbaum of Lone Star Productions, about hair and identity still in development. The documentary film that moved me hugely last year was Virunga. I had spent time near the DRC border. I could feel the fear and the tension myself, and the film brought it all back to me. I thought that it was a very powerful film, a brave film, and I loved the using of the three main characters in the film that took you on an emotional roller ride with equal doses of sensitivity and drama. The documentary filmmakers that influenced me mostly were Leni Riefenstahl, her Triumph of the Will. I still can think of the sound of the engines coming through the clouds in her Inference to Power. And then there was Claude Lanzmann's 9.5 Hours Shoah, the Holocaust film, the chilling story of the young boy playing his violin to the Nazi officer in the boat over the river littered with corpses. I've seen lots of Nick Broomfield's films. He paints memorable portraits and their insights into the personalities themselves. Extraordinary. The phenomenon of the film process, the getting of the story coupled with the failures, the letdowns, his distinctive personal style and his presence in them as the quiet irritant, the buffoon, the sympathizer. Mark his turf. Kevin MacDonald's Touching the Void touched me. I love the mountain sequences, the interviews against the neutral background, and I loved Bob Marley as well. And James Marsh's Man on Wire, the inclusion of the early quiet footage of Philippe Petit practicing on a makeshift tightrope rig in the French countryside, as well as in contrast to the act of the death-defying tightrope walk against the Manhattan skyline. Brilliant.